Imagine this. You finally get the call, the one you've been waiting for. The voice on the other end sounds confident, almost impressed. They tell you you're
100,000
exactly what they've
Bitcoin
been looking
signing
for.
bonus.
The role sounds
Yes,
perfect.
I
The
accept the
title
offer.
feels like progress. The salary? Just enough to make you feel like you're moving forward, maybe even winning a little. You hang up, and for a moment, everything feels aligned. Like the years of effort, the late nights, the constant pressure to figure it out have finally paid off. This is it. The moment where life stabilizes, where things start making sense. The first few weeks feel exactly how you imagined. You wake up with purpose. You feel productive. You're learning, adapting, proving yourself. There's a rhythm forming, a structure, and there's comfort in that structure. Because for the first time in a while, you're not guessing anymore. You have a path, a direction, a role that defines your place in the system. And slowly, without realizing it, your identity starts attaching itself to that role. Not just what you do, but who you are. But then something subtle begins to shift. Not dramatically. Nothing breaks, nothing goes wrong. It's quieter than that. You start noticing how your time is no longer yours in the same way. Your energy feels allocated before the day even begins. Decisions about your life, when you rest, when you travel, even when you think, start organizing themselves around your job. And at first, it feels normal. This is what responsibility looks like. This is what stability requires. And this is where the illusion begins to reveal itself. Because what felt like freedom starts to feel like structure, and what felt like progress starts to feel like maintenance. You're no longer chasing the job, you're sustaining it, protecting it, adjusting your life around it. And slowly, the excitement that once justified everything is replaced by something more subtle, dependence. At some point, you catch yourself thinking differently, not about what you want to do, but about what you can't risk losing. The job becomes less about opportunity and more about security, and that shift changes everything. Because when your primary goal becomes maintaining stability, your willingness to take risks quietly disappears. You become more careful, more calculated, not because you lack ambition, because the cost of disruption feels too high. Around this point, it's worth pausing for a moment. If you're watching this and recognizing how something that once felt like a dream can slowly become a system you feel tied to, you're on Prime Gorilla, where we break down the deeper psychology behind money, work, and modern life. If this perspective is making you rethink your own situation, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who feels stuck in something that once excited them, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because once you zoom out further, the idea of a dream job starts to look different. It's not that the job itself is bad, it's that the structure around it creates a very specific kind of trade. You exchange flexibility for predictability, time for income, control for clarity, and for a while that trade feels worth it. But over time, as your life grows more complex, as your responsibilities increase, that same structure begins to feel restrictive.
And this is where psychology plays a powerful role, because humans are wired to seek stability, to avoid uncertainty. So once we find something that feels secure, we protect it, even if it no longer aligns with what we actually want, even if it quietly limits our growth. We stay, not because it's perfect, but because it's predictable, and predictability feels safe. The irony is that the very thing that makes a job feel like a dream in the beginning, its structure, its clarity, its reliability, is the same thing that can make it feel like a trap over time. Because structure doesn't expand with you. It expects you to fit within it. And as your ambitions evolve, as your perspective changes, that structure can start to feel smaller than it once did. At the same time, the financial layer adds another dimension, because your income becomes tied to your presence, your time, your continued participation in that system. And once your lifestyle adjusts to that income, your rent, your expenses, your expectations, the idea of stepping away becomes more complicated. Not impossible, but heavier, more risky. And this is where many people find themselves stuck, not physically, but psychologically. They are not forced to stay, but leaving would require disrupting a system that currently works, even if it doesn't fully satisfy them. And so they continue, not because they're chasing the dream anymore, but because they're maintaining it. And over time, that maintenance becomes the new normal. The deeper realization here is not that jobs are bad or that stability is a mistake. It's that the concept of a dream job is often incomplete. It focuses on the entry point, the role, the salary, the opportunity, but rarely considers the long-term structure it creates, the dependency, the trade-offs, the way it shapes your decisions over time. And that leads to the final perspective shift. The real question is not whether a job looks like a dream at the beginning, it's whether it allows you to build a life that still feels like yours over time. Because a true dream is not something you have to constantly maintain at the cost of your flexibility. It's something that evolves with you, that gives you space, not just structure. In a world that constantly pushes you to chase the next opportunity, the real advantage comes from understanding what that opportunity turns into after you accept it. Because sometimes the biggest trap is not failure, it's success that quietly locks you into a version of life you never stopped to question.
If this video opened your eyes, make sure you subscribe, because what you learn today can save your future tomorrow.